The city of Chicago is waiting. The United States of America is waiting. The world is waiting. The court is preparing, and Cold Trail Crime is watching the legal battle over the death of Romeca Meeks-Blackmon. With the appeals court demanding a reconsideration, do you think the judge will find a way to keep Holly Johnson detained on May 6th, or will she be home for Mother's Day? Share your theories in the comments, and let's get the discussion started. This case has officially reached a fever pitch, and today, May 1, 2026, we are standing on the edge of a judicial crossroads that has the entire city of Chicago and the true crime community in a state of absolute shock. If you thought the case against Quadajah, Holly Johnson was a closed door, you need to pay very close attention to the high-stakes legal maneuvers happening behind the scenes, because as Mother's Day 2026 approaches, the woman charged with pulling the trigger 3 times in a school zone, her legal team are not relenting, and this might take a turn. We are breaking down the explosive Mother's Day ultimatum and the strategic masterclass being played by attorney Ari Williams that aimed on seeing Holly Johnson released on electronic monitoring as early as next week. If you are ready for the unvarnished truth about the surprise hearings, the unserved protective orders, and the ghost data that could change everything, make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel right now. We are the only ones tracking this legal showdown until the final gavel falls. The atmosphere at the George N. Leighton Criminal Court building has been nothing short of electric this week, especially following the surprise hearing on April 27th that kept the community on the edge of its seat. We are talking about a case where the Illinois Appellate Court recently did the unthinkable. They officially reversed the original order to detain Holly Johnson without bond. This wasn't just a suggestion, it was a mandate that has forced the lower court into a procedural corner. The higher court has ruled that the system must reconsider whether restrictive conditions, like an ankle monitor and home confinement, can protect the public. But as we look toward the May 6th day of reckoning, we have to ask the hard questions. Is the law prioritizing a technicality over the safety of our schools? If you believe that a sanctuary for children should never be a hunting ground, hit that subscribe button and join our community as we demand a higher standard of justice. We need to dive into the forensic reality of the 27-minute ambush. Prosecution filings have revealed chilling GPS data within blocks of the South Loop School for nearly half an hour before Romeca even arrived. This lying in wait evidence is the primary weapon the state is using to fight the appellate remand. They are arguing that this wasn't a chance encounter or a spontaneous act of self-defense, but a calculated interception. If the court allows a release before the forensic lab returns the final DNA results on that firearm in June, it sends a message that the presumption of release outweighs the physical evidence of premeditation. If you want to see the moment the self-defense mask is officially dismantled by the digital truth, make sure you like the video to help us push this story to 10,000 more viewers today. But the most haunting question of all, the one that keeps this community up at night, is the total lack of accountability for Carlos Smith. Where is the second set of handcuffs? We have witnesses who have stood firm, claiming that Carlos Smith held Romeca in a headlock, allegedly pinning her down while the shots were fired. If the law recognizes accountability theory, then why is the man who was allegedly the catalyst for this entire tragedy still living his life in other city while Romeca is in a grave and Holly is in a jail cell? We have to ask, was he the spotter? Was he the one who ensured Romeca had no retreat? Every like on this video is a demand for a secondary indictment. We are tracking the ghost data to see if there was coordination between Carlos and Holly during those 27 minutes of waiting. Thank you for your incredible loyalty. Now subscribe as we count down to the May 6th hearing. The final court date before Mother's Day. The emotional weight of this case is reaching a boiling point. The defense is leaning heavily on the paper shield of the 2025 stalking no-contact orders, but we have to say this. Those orders were reportedly never legally served to Romeca. How can you claim you were protecting yourself from a stalker who didn't even know she was under a court order. It looks less like a legal protection and more like a license to kill, filed in advance. Romeca Meeks' family is facing a Mother's Day of silence, while the legal system debates conditions of relief for the person who pulled the trigger. This is the moment where the community's voice should be louder than the technicalities. Thank you for standing with Romeca. Now subscribe and let's make sure the May 6th outcome is built on a foundation of truth, not a legal escape. With the appeals court demanding a reconsideration, do you think the judge will find a way to keep Holly Johnson detained on May 6th, or will she be home for Mother's Day? Share your theories in the comments and let's get the discussion started. The technicality of this Mother's Day showdown isn't just about an ankle monitor. It's about a direct challenge to the integrity of the South Loop's safe passage protocols. If you're ready to see how a single appellate mandate could redefine the safety of every school corner in Chicago, make sure you like this video and subscribe right now. We are tracking the legal chess moves that the mainstream news is not touching. We have to look at the alleged digital blackout that occurred in the seconds after the shooting. Reports suggest that as Romeca lay on the pavement, a series of encrypted messages were dispatched from a device at the scene to a secondary contact in another state. Was this a mission-complete signal? If the prosecution can link this digital timestamp to the fist bump witnesses described, then the entire appellate argument for release collapses under the weight of a coordinated criminal enterprise. Every like on this video helps us fight the algorithm to ensure these digital breadcrumbs aren't swept under the rug. Furthermore, we must address the technical gap. The court needs to ask why a man who is a central witness to a first-degree murder was allowed to leave the jurisdiction while the case is in such a volatile remand phase. Technically, if the accountability theory is applied, Carlos shouldn't be a spectator. He should be a co-defendant. We are demanding to know if the Cook County State's attorney has issued a hold on his travel leading up to the June DNA reveal. If his genetic profile is found on the magazine or the slide of that weapon, his claim of being a helpless peacemaker is allegedly incinerated. If you believe that the man who allegedly held the headlock should be wearing the same orange jumpsuit as the shooter, hit that subscribe button right now and join our call for a secondary grand jury. As we approach the May 6th remand hearing, the focus is sharpening on the physical mechanics of the three-shot sequence. Ballistic experts are reportedly preparing to testify that the shots weren't fired in a panicked burst, but with a rhythmic pause that suggests a conscious choice was made before each trigger pull. In a school zone, this level of controlled fire is the ultimate evidence of intent. The judge at the Leeton Criminal Court building now has the impossible task of balancing a higher court's order for leniency with the forensic fact that 3 rounds were placed with lethal precision. This Mother's Day, the world is watching to see if the presumption of release becomes a license for lawlessness. Thank you for your incredible loyalty and for helping us reach our 10K view goal today. Now subscribe and let's make sure Romeca's name is the only thing trending when the gavel drops on May 6th. Is the 27-minute wait enough to prove that the no-contact orders were just a legal setup for an ambush? Share your theories in the comments and let's get the truth trending.